Getting back on your hooves. Magic Duel. Chapter 3 by Gozillawolf. The Duel. Trixie paced back and forth in her room. What can I do? I need to do something. I have to! I'm not going to be humiliated again! I can't be humiliated again! She said to herself. Then she gave a desperate look. Well, there is one option. She walked over to the deck drawer, produced a piece of paper and a quill. She wrote down an address from memory. After a few moments of thinking hard, the mare sat for a second, looking at it. Sadly, Sally blinked, looking up at Trixie. Admittedly, Trixie didn't always have the best of intentions, Sally, the answer mare said to her pet. This is the location of something called the Alicorn Amulet. Trixie heard of it in Las Pegasus once, and may have intended to gain unholy power and repair her reputation by cursing every pony who stood in her way. But all her attempts to get a job seemed to crash and burn. Admittedly, the idea of doing something like that reminded her too much of Checker. It felt like taking out Trixie's frustrations on others was what she'd do. Either way, Trixie never tried to get it, even when she discovered where it was. Using it on Checker made no sense, considering she wasn't a sub-pony physical force would truly defeat. She looked at the paper. If Trixie had the amulet, she'd even be stronger than Twilight and could defeat her. It's far away, but Trixie could teleport now, and she could make it there and use the Alicorn's amulet power to teleport back in time for the duel. Trixie has the bits for it now. Sally whimpered, looking at her master what seemed to be concerned. Don't be cute! Trixie looked thoughtfully at the address for a few moments, then floated up and burned it to ash with a small little flame spell. But that beats cheating, both herself and Twilight. I've still got my pride. I'm not going to bruise it by taking the easy way out. She admitted with a prideful smirk, even if this is very much going to seek worse than your musk. She finished, ears pinning in and giving a gulp. Gulp! What am I going to do? Twilight asked, searching more and more frantically through books and friendship reports. Spike picked one up and blinked. What about this one? Being a good friend means being able to keep a secret, but you should never be afraid to share your thoughts and feelings with a good friend. Twilight shook her head. I thought about that one, but this isn't about secrets. It's about not hurting Trixie, and it feels like no matter what I do, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll tell her. It'll hurt her, too. Spike sighed. I suppose. Still seems like we're missing something. Twilight got a somewhat unhinged look. I know! Maybe I should find a way to cancel it altogether. Maybe I could set off a freak snowstorm or something. Then no pony! Twilight, stop! Spike called, jumping out to the frazzling unicorn's back and throwing yet another bucket of water at her face. Where do you keep getting buckets of water? Not important. Although, there's this mulberry unicorn out there with a broken horn that's been giving them to me. Tempest, it's 11. What's important is that you're starting to sound like the Smarty Pants incident all over again, the little dragon pointed out. Twilight's eyes whitened and shook her head to clear it. Yeah, I guess I was. Thanks, Spike. I know you can't help feeling nervous right now, but if you suggest something like that again, I'm sending a letter to the princess, and I don't care what she's doing, okay? Spike stated with a serious expression. Twilight gulped and nodded. Crystal. Woo! The two Adora started now, and pointed to almost an empty hourglass. Twilight pinned her ears. Oh no, we're out of time! It was time. The stage was set. Twilight stared out from behind the stage, her mane a disheveled mess. She gasped, eyes falling on a large number of ponies in attendance. There were even more than she expected. Oh shoot! It's time for the Moonstone Cup! This isn't good! This is not good! She exclaimed. Thankfully, the Smarty Pants incident and Spike's warning was still fresh in her memory. Spike's right. I can't do anything crazy. I can't, but I don't know what am I going to do! Not too far away, Trixie peeked out at the same eye as it gulped. So many ponies. So many, she muttered, shuddering in fear as she saw all the eyes that would soon be upon her. She gasped as her gaze fell upon a certain someone. There she is! Princess Celestia herself stood on the balcony seat, with a couple of what looked like giant ponies next to her. The unicorn knew they had to be the Saudi Arabian delegates. They're here. They're here. They're gonna watch me fail. I'm gonna be a laughingstock again. Nearby, Spike blinked, watching Twilight and Trixie.
Wait, they're both nervous wrecks? He asked. I'm every bit as surprised as you are.
Spike blinked, looking to say so.
Really? Yeah. Trixie's been worried sick all day after overhearing some ponies saying Twilight would demolish her without even trying. The stallion replied. She was just too prideful to admit it. Spike promptly face clawed, and Twilight was too afraid of hurting Trixie's ego to tell.
Say so, raised an eyebrow.
So they're both terrified of the same thing, and didn't tell one another for the exact same reasons?
Spike gave an annoyed sigh, watching as the two unicorns now curled into fetal positions. Twilight stroking her tail.
Yep! Should have expected this. Stuff like this always happens to us. So we should probably do something? Probably. Looks like the psychics will have to save the day,
Spike replied dourly, giving some thought. He looked over to the crowd, eyes falling on an orange mare, chatting excitedly with a rainbow-maned Pegasus in particular.
Come on, let's get some backup to get to it into their thick heads!
Spike walked over to the stands, Statehoff with him.
Applejack, Statehoff said with a smile. That's a good idea. Who better to help us see the truth than most of the honest pony we know? Spike blinked. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to her. Not because she and Rainbow were the closest and we've only got 15 minutes left.
This is gonna be awesome! It's about time Trixie gets to show us what she's really got! Rainbow exclaimed, giving a smirk. Yeah, I haven't really seen her cut loose since we did that charity play.
She'll be a real hoot, Applejack replied.
I just hope this show doesn't take as long as some of our contests, though. Ha! No way you're gonna outlast us! Spike blinked as he approached the mares.
Girls, are you excited about this?
You buy it? Applejack replied, giving a smirk. What's to lack about a little friendly competition?
So, you don't think Trixie's gonna get fighted by Twilight?
Rainbow raised an eyebrow. No.
Well, somebody else thinks so, including Twilight and Trixie. They kinda need your help.
Twilight gulped and got up. Well, it's almost time. Twilight? The mare gave a jump. Applejack? She asked, looking at the stern, but concerned expression on the mare's face. Twilight, you've really been worrying yourself sick, haven't you? Asked the farm pony with a frown. No! Whatever do I have to be worried about? Twilight asked, giving a nervous smile. How about worrying you're going to humiliate your friend? Twilight's eyes shrugged to pinpricks. What? Me? Worry about what? Whatever gave you that idea? Rainbow Dash! Release Trixie! Twilight blinked. Once Rainbow Dash, why Trixie had put her down.
Trix, relax. Twilight's freaking out too.
Trixie's just worried about it as you are, Applejack stated. Twilight and Trixie both blinked. Wait, what? Applejack gave a sigh. You both are worried about the same thing. I'm being too stubborn and prideful to realize it. This got her a couple of looks from her friends, with Twilight raising an eyebrow. Alright, I guess I'm in no position to call some point else stubborn and prideful. But the point is, you spent the day on pins and needles over the same thing, and could save yourself a lot of trouble if you just talked it out. Trixie and Twilight blinked, looking at one another. Trixie, you're worried that... Well, Trixie sighed. Trixie might have been a little nervous that... Applejack faced up. No wonder the little guy needed her. Hurry up, she muttered. You're both worried about hurting each other's feelings? Now just talk about it! Rainbow Dash said in her typical bluntness. So it's not just bad fanfics where Rainbow Dash speaks my mind. Applejack gave her a glare.
Rainbow glared back. What? One of us was going to have to see it. Did you have to be it?
Poland.
What's the point of being the best one if I can't be it for the good use?
Trixie sighed.
Yes, it wasn't easy for Trixie. It isn't easy for me to admit it. But I am afraid, Twilight. I heard some townspeople talking about it, and I just can't bear the idea of being a laughingstock again after the Ursa. I was so scared, but, well, you're you, Twilight replied, giving a sympathetic smile. And that's why I was so scared of telling you. I was so terrified of humiliating you. I knew you'd hurt your pride if I did. After all, Checker put you through. I didn't want to be the one to hurt you. I'm sorry. Trixie gave a small, but somewhat hurt smile. It, it's quite alright. Okay, not exactly alright. It does hurt. Quite a bit. Twilight hugged her. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. Trixie returned the hug. At least you cared if you hurt me. That's more like a sister than Checkmate ever was. It's good to know we're both worried about the same thing, sort of. And then Trixie and Twilight began to make out in front of Princess and every pony. Ow! What? I don't just do Flutterdash jokes, I also do Twixie. And I guess telling you would have been more practical than faking being sick to try and get out of it. Trixie blinked. Wait, you faked being sick? Twilight gave a nervous look. Yeah, I got the idea from Fluttershy, she admitted, getting Rainbow Dash a face off. Are you mad? Trixie gave a relieved sigh. No, Trixie is actually quite relieved at that. It means you don't know instant healing spells. No, I don't. The closest thing I know is some of Zecора's potions, and even then she's a lot better than I am at it. Trixie couldn't help but give a laugh. So let Trixie get this straight. Trixie spent the day training, while you spent the day trying to figure out a way to pull out the same competition Trixie was training for, and both of us did so for the exact same reason. Twilight gave a chuckle of her own. It's kind of silly when you think about it. Silly? Well, this is why it's important we be honest with each other. Albert pointed out, getting the two unicorns to blush. Yeah, and besides, I don't get why you're worried about it, Rainbow Dash stated. Trixie and Twilight blinked. Why shouldn't we been? Twilight said. Yes, Twilight is the element of magic, and the strongest unicorn in Equestria. Why should Trixie not be worried? Trixie asked, putting her nerves at having to admit it. The fact that she wasn't the only one who believed she was going to be demolished certainly didn't help matters. Because we've been waiting all day for you to finally cut loose, Trix, Rainbow Dash said, giving a smirk. Trixie blinked. Wait, you don't think Trixie's going to get trounced? Because Trixie does! That's because you're thinking about it as power versus power, not Twilight versus Trixie. Applejack pointed out, giving a small smile. Look at Million Rainbow, for instance. Rainbow's the fastest Pegasus in Equestria. But does that stop me and her from having a good competition with each other? Twilight blinked. No, actually. If anything, you two are the most competitive ponies I've ever met. Some way at times too much so. Maybe Dash rubbed her head. Yeah, we could get carried away sometimes. Applejack nodded with a blush. But less the point. We're still kind of tied into everything. Raymond chuckled. Yeah, we need a tiebreaker sometime. But I haven't smelled Applejack at everything. And do you see me just wiping the floor in every flying contest I compete in? Heck, I was worried about Rarity beating me in the Young Flyers competition. Trixie blinked. Wait, how's that physically possible? Long story. Point is, being the fastest Pegasus around doesn't mean I'm going to win all the time. There's a large percentage of it. She stated with a proud smirk. Twilight chuckled. That's more like our Rainbow Dash. So, you're saying me and Trixie have been going about this all wrong? Albert nodded. Yeah, like I said. You're looking at like power's all that matters. By that logic, Rainbow Dash to beat me holds down on everything. Well, that don't happen. And why is that, Twilight? You're the brainiac. Twilight blinked, giving some thought. Because your strengths aren't the same. Because you've got Rainbow beating your strength and endurance, even as he's faster than you. Rainbow nodded. Exactly. And I love a good competition. Even if I'm the fastest Pegasus alive, it'd be boring if that meant that Best Young Flyers competition was a cakewalk. Twilight nodded. But I'm the strongest unicorn at magic, and this is a magic duel. Yeah, but you're as good as I am magic tricks, is that? Asked Rainbow Dash. Twilight and Trixie both blinked. No. Trixie's got a big experience on the edge on me, and specifically her special talent. I just picked up a few spells from her. I don't need to use as often as she does. See? Twilight face off when something occurred to her. Ugh! I can't believe I did that! One of the first things Princess Celestia taught me was my talent being magic did not mean I was the best at everything!
Are you listening, people out there in the audience?
And not listening to gossip is a lesson that the Crusaders learned! And Trixie can't believe she allowed herself to be beaten down by others underestimating her. It was once Trixie's forte to shut up naysayers. Trixie admitted, Trixie now feels extremely foolish. So I gave a chuckle. Me too. She then frowned, pinning her ears. Trixie, I'm so sorry. I never should have underestimated you. Trixie hugged her friend. It's all right, Twilight. Trixie underestimated herself just as much. At least you felt that way to protect Trixie instead of to hurt her. Twilight returned the hug. Doesn't mean I was right, and I can't feel bad about it. Twilight returned the hug. Doesn't mean I was right, and I can't feel bad about it. If there's one thing you six have taught Trixie, it's that friends forgive each other. You forgave Trixie for humiliating your friends, and for occasionally being egotistical, and the multiple messes she made trying to get a job, and that time she got really carried away with pranking Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie. Rainbow Dash gave a sleepy smile. She'll probably keep a closer eye on you. You've forgiven enough of Trixie's mistakes, Twilight. It's only right that I forgive you this time. Besides, you didn't believe anything about Trixie. You didn't believe about herself. Sir Cleves, we're only quads. No pony expects us to be perfect, Applejack said, giving a smile. Oh, so like the whole thing with Pinkie's cake? Twilight asked with a look of realization, giving a smile and nod. Every pony made this same mistake, so how can we blame any pony? Let Trixie think. Oh, Twilight told Trixie that one. Yes, Trixie can live with that, she said, giving a smile of her own. Every pony messed up, so no pony did. Applejack faced up. No! Rainbow, Fluttershy, and Rarity all got punished by the cakes for that, remember? Rainbow Dash gave a nervous smile and rubbed the back of her head. Yeah, they weren't too happy about that. My point is, Princess Celestia wouldn't be expecting us to have lessons to give her. She expected us to be perfect. What's important is that we actually learn from the lessons and from our mistakes. Trixie blessed. Oh, yes. That makes a tad more sense. Trixie is glad she was not present for that adventure. Twilight bowed. And I know I'll have Spike write a proper friendship report about this when all is said and done. Trixie nodded, to give a confused look. But wait! How did you two know we both felt the same way? Spike and Stacey told us. Said you were both freaking out, Rainbow Dash stated. Spike and Stacey stood by nervously. Sorry, Trixie. Says that you two were freaking out over the same thing, and you needed help. But I didn't know who else to turn to, and I'm sorry. And I'm sorry I agree with you that you were weaker than Twilight when it turns out you weren't. Please don't hate me, Trixie promptly hugged him. Thanks for helping Trixie. Stacey gave a bless. You're welcome. Twilight hugged Spike. Thank you for helping me and Trixie, Spike. Well, what am I supposed to do when you're in trouble? Spike asked, giving a smile. Spike really should have taught us all not to underestimate the underdavin dog, Applejack said with a smile. Considering the whole help Celestia save Caroline from mutant cockatrices and blue and cunning somber things. Spike blinked, then gave an embarrassed look. Yeah, I probably should have been one to underestimate someone. Didn't help Trixie with the cockatrice thing, Rainbow Dash asked. Trixie gave a blink and bless. Well, she did blind several with fireworks, but she didn't do anything that special. She didn't even meet Celestia. Spike was the one who rode on Celestia, wielding a trident, and you six were busy dealing with Queen Chrysalis again. Twilight smiled. Doesn't mean you didn't help, or that we were any less wrong to underestimate you. Trixie gave a smile and hugged her friend. Trixie underestimated herself just as much. Sorry if I'm interrupting anything. Everybody looked over to see Mare staring at them. Mare, it's been a while, girlfriend. How you been? But it's time for the show. Trixie let go of stage stuff and stepped back. Well, shall we give this a try, Twilight? Twilight gave a thoughtful look. If you're up to it, Trixie, then so am I. Trixie nodded. Her horn glowed as she teleported her stage attire to herself, giving a theatrical grin as she did so. The magnificent Trixie is ready when you are.
Twilight smiled, glad to see Trixie's characteristic grin back on her face. Applejack smiled. We'll be watching for the stands. Good luck, you two, she said, and she and Rainbow Dash tried off. I wish you luck, Trixie, So said, giving a hug to the Azure Unicorn. Another dead Twilight, Spike called, as the two tried off to join the others in the stands. Rarity and Fluttershy nervously found their seats, next to Applejack and Spike.
Is everything okay?
The Little Dragon gave a nod. Yeah, turns out we may have been worried for nothing. Rarity blinked. Wait, what? Applejack looked over. Turns out they were both worried sick over nothing. They'll sit back and enjoy the show.
But wait, what are this?
Rarity asked, blinking in confusion.
Apparently the pod thing was out, Piggy chimed in.
Hop it up and join your friends.
Aww, I was hardly in this.
It's okay, Piggy. You've been hardly in a lot of the fix lately.
I know. Come here.
Hey, at least you're a main character of Fall Starfleet. Everyone just stared for a moment before turning their attention to the stage as the spotlights turned on. Ladies and gentlecoats, announced Mare, stepping on the stage. She turned quickly to check and make sure the princess was still in her seat and hadn't finished due to an evil returning. Again. She panicked slightly when she saw an empty balcony seat, until her aide pointed to the princess herself, seated safely in an entirely different one. The mayor gave a sigh of relief. And welcome to the ruler of our land, the fairy pony who gives us a son each and every single day, the good, the wise, bringer of harmony of all of Equestria, Princess Celestia, and honored guests, delegates from Southern Arabia. Celestia seemed to zone out slightly, as her Leslie title was recited. Liz quickly shook it off and smiled and returned. Thank you, Mare. We are looking forward to a wonderful evening. The Arabian horses nodded with a smile. For your entertainment, it is my honor to introduce Miss Twilight Sparkle and, the Earth Pony looked at a small note card, the magnificent Trixie? For some odd reason, there are multiple R's on here. Presenting an exhibition Magic Duel! Twilight trotted up to the front of the stage, while Trixie dramatically teleported out. Both gave a how to the princess of the day, though Trixie seemed much giddier about it than the purple unicorn.
I'm performing in front of Princess Celestia.
She practically giggled to herself now that her nerves weren't shot. The two looked to the crowd, noting some looking at Trixie, with looks ranging from worry to anticipation. The unicorns simply walked to the stage and hugged one another, before going to the opposite of the stage. Trixie and Twilight took a fighting stance, as Mare stepped back and watched them both get ready. Begin! Trixie quickly fired what looked like a fireworks spell from her horn. The bear of magic sidestepped quickly, allowing it to explode on the stage next to her, releasing a green gas instead of the normal pyrotechnic explosion. Twilight blinked, stiffening it slightly and gagging. Phew! A stink spell? She exclaimed, coughing and putting a hoof over her nose slightly. The shell mare chuckled.
Ha ha ha! Just a little joke, Twilight. This is a friendly duel after all, she said.
Her smirk made Twilight feel uneasy.
You should be surprised, considering Trixie has been pranking with Rainbow and Pinky.
Celestia's student's horn glowed as he produced a wind spell, blowing the putrid smoke back at Trixie. The Azure Unicorn coughed on the awful smell, and struggled to keep her footing against the wind. Her horn glowed, and scars manifested themselves to the stage, wrapping around her hooves and keeping her grounded, while another wrapped around her snout to block the stench. Twilight's spell faded, and the purple unicorn gave it a groan.
Ugh, stuck to me a little bit,
she muttered, sinking her tongue in disgust. What was your plan, Trixie? You're too smart to waste your first move on a prank, she said under her breath. Unless you want me to think that. Or are you trying to have me nostalgic flashbacks despite stink-bombing Blueblood? While Twilight thought over Trixie's strategy, the Shellmare wrapped the scars and cast another spell, surrounding herself in a swirl of pink rose petals and removed the smell. It focused back on Twilight.
Alright, now it's time to be serious.
Trixie concentrated magic into her horn and commanded her magically generated scarves to wrap around Twilight. The bearer of magic blasted a hole through the ones coming in from the front, only for her opponent to sneak two others from behind and wrap Twilight up. Trixie teleported out of harm's way as Twilight blew the scarves away and freed herself. Twilight quickly fired a beam of magic from her horn, hitting Trixie and caused her to float into the air like gravity had been reversed. The show mare flailed for a moment, then smirked and manifested a bunch of pies in front of her, bucking each one of them. Twilight jumped, dodging a two before a third hit her in the face, allowing two more to hit her, knocking her on her flank. Celestia stood, blasted the pies off of her, firing another magic beam at Trixie. However, the Azure Unicorn magically manifested a table behind her and bucked off of it, dodging the beam and letting it fly harmlessly into the sky. Trixie took advantage of her positioning and hit Twilight with a magic beam, dropping her in a magician's box, her head and hind hoofs sticking out of it. Trixie smirked and fired a pink beam from her horn that made Twilight laugh uncontrollably as it tickled her. The Lavender Unicorn teleported out of the box and shot Trixie with a beam, causing her to scream as the gravity spell was finally reversed as she fell to the stage with a grunt. Trixie groaned as she got back to her hooves, just before Twilight saw it beam into the stage, causing vines to spread out and wrap around the show mare, tying her up. Trixie struggled to escape the vines until they entirely covered her, then teleported out of the vines and appeared behind her rival, trying to blast her with a magic beam, but was dodged in turn by Twilight's teleportation. The two spent a couple of moments teleporting and trying to get a spell on another, until Twilight stopped so not to waste mana. But Trixie teleported once more and finally got a spell on her from above, manifesting another magician's scarf around her, which she pulled with telekinesis as she landed, spinning Twilight around like a top. The bookworm unicorn staggered dizzily, struggling to get her footing back. She shook it off and fired a beam at Trixie, wrapping her in a straitjacket of chains. Trixie tried to teleport out, but blinked. Huh? Anti-teleportation enchantment, Twilight stated, giving a smirk. Trixie, however, gave one proud smirk. One spell later, the chains unlocked. It fell off as she slid out of the straitjacket. Twilight faced up, and stage magic and ghost escape tricks. Also, you probably shouldn't explain your spells out loud, but if you're going to turn up the heat, then so is Trixie! Trixie announced, concentrating. Trixie teleported, and when she appeared, Twilight was surrounded by a circle of copies of the show mare. The bearer of magic blinked, looking from Trixie to Trixie. She then gasped when she noticed something. Why aren't any of you breathing? There was no difference in the Trixies. Their chests didn't seem to move when inhaling and exhaling. A magician never reveals her tricks, all the Trixies announced. They all began firing beams of magic at Twilight. The unicorn had to dodge and duck under the spells being flung at her. Twilight gave a thoughtful look, the smirk of realization. Ha! None of you are breathing. That means the real Trixie must not be in the circle. The Trixie directly in front of her in the circle fired a beam, hitting her head on, giving her a mild shock, making her mane stand on end and slightly singeing her, though naturally not enough to actually hurt her. The show mare gave a confident smile, teleporting again as her copies vanished, reappearing with fresh bats. In the crowd, Helen and Midsummer gave a proud smile. Sometimes a little theater tricks can make the magic work that much better. Twilight shook off the ass of her coat and tried to dodge more beams, unsure which Trixie was real and which ones weren't. She looked around frantically, trying to figure out which show mare might be the real one, ending up once more blindsided by the spell that caused her mane and tail to frizz up like a sheet's, covering her eyes and blinding her. She really has been practicing. The audience seemed to give a gasp of surprise that Trixie had managed to get the upper hoof, except Rarity, who screamed in horror at Twilight's mane. The purple pony magically fired her mane and tail, and trying to duck under some more beams. Once more, Trixie teleported and scrambled herself with more copies. Twilight responded by magically generating a prison above her and firing a beam into it. The magic reflected off the inside and split, hitting all the other tricksters and magicians' illusions, as well as the real one, trapping her in a block of ice. The frozen unicorn's eyes batted back and forth for a moment, before she concentrated and set off several fireworks to blast her way out of the ice. She shook herself off, then had to jump out of the way of another freezing spell. Trixie panted a bit, nosing Twilight was panting as well. However, the element of magic seemed to be a good bit less tired than herself, much to her annoyance. Trixie fired another spell her way, and the Azure Unicorn was countered with a beam of her own. The two collided. Trixie found herself quickly overpowered, leaving her with no choice but to teleport out of the way. Trixie landed nearby, and cursed to herself for trying to match Celestia's student for power. Looks like Trixie will have to pull out all the stops, she muttered and concentrated, causing an illusion of a dark cave to form around the stage, hiding her from Twilight's sight. Twilight looked around closely at the cave illusion. She has to be here somewhere, she muttered, before a bolt of lightning came out of nowhere and forced her to dodge.
She had to dodge a few more bolts, then blinked. I can't see any holes in the illusion? How's he seeing me if the illusion has no openings? The crowd watched as lightning clouds Trixie created began raining lightning down into the illusion. The show mare, somewhere inside, with nose twitching, following the scent of a certain stink bomb stuck to her rival's fur. Sakura watched with a smile of her own from the stands, seated next to Helenia. Your granddaughter took my training to heart, but I only improved upon that which she did start. Helenia smiled. Thank you, Sakura. Now, let's see if she can win this. Meanwhile, Twilight dove and dodged another bolt, but was shocked by yet another. She grunted and shook it off, feeling tingling but not injured. She teleported, but found Trixie had covered the entire stage with her illusion. Her weather control is a lot better too, she muttered, having to form a quick shield to block the lightning. Still couldn't figure out where her rival was. Trixie seemed to realize she had stopped moving, and made the clouds converge, pumping more of the lightning into the shield from all directions. I'm a sitting duck here. I can't hit what I can't see either. It's generating the lightning illusion won't take up as much mana as the clouds base illusion are made. At this rate, I'm going to run out of mana defending myself before she runs out of energy to attack. Twilight muttered, this must be Trixie's plan. My power won't do me any good if I can't hit her with it. I need to get rid of this spell. Twilight focused and set on a magic surge of pink energy around her, dispelling the illusions in the clouds with a shockwave. Twilight panted as she looked at Trixie. The azure unicorn clearly being worn down as well. That was really impressive, Trixie. You actually made me use my failsafe spell. Trixie panted, but gave a proud smirk. You're quite welcome, Twilight. Trixie has been working on that spell with Sakura for a while. The crowd watched with bated breath as the two unicorns circled one another in preparation for their next move. Trixie believes we're both getting tired, Trixie replied, seeming to prepare herself for something. Twilight nodded. Yeah. Looking forward to a nap? The show mare asked. Twilight chuckled, giving a nod. Yeah, you bet. She was feeling tired. Trixie's horn glowed, but she locked eyes with Twilight as the unicorn prepared for whatever spell the Trixie magician was charging up. That does sound wonderful, doesn't it? Lying down, taking a nice nap, she asked, her voice taking a slight echoing quality, and the magic in her horn began to swirl. Yeah, it does. Trixie's eyes became swirling black and white circles. Are you listening to the sound of my voice, Twilight? Yeah, I hear you, Trixie, the student said, feeling drowsy as her eyes met Trixie's. You're getting tired, aren't you? Kind of. Your body getting heavy? Yeah, very. Getting sleepy? Yeah, I am. You want to lay down and rest? Kinda, Twilight said, slipping down to a sitting position, struggling to keep her eyes open. Lay down and rest, Twilight. You done well. No pony will be disappointed in you. You got nothing more to prove tonight. Just go to sleep. Yeah, maybe, she muttered, laying down slowly and giving a yawn. Yes, that's right, the azure mare said, voice calm and soothing as she spoke. Just enjoy a good rest, Twilight. You deserve it. Yeah, we worked hard. We've done a good job. We've had a good duel. We entertained the crowd. We entertained the princess. Twilight muttered, her eyes closing, then shut open a little. Wait, the princess! Yes, she's watching, but you know she's proud of you. You don't need to. Celestia's pearl still stood, slowly shot awake. I'm sorry, princess. I didn't mean to fall asleep in class! She exclaimed, looking around frantically. Celestia blushed a little. It's fine, Twilight. Carry on. Twilight blinked in confusion and blushed a little before looking to Trixie. You almost hypnotized me? She asked, giving a look of surprise. Trixie chuckled. Well, the smarter pony is the easier the way to hypnotize. You are as smart as they come. Twilight smiled. I'm just impressed you managed to actually get it to work. Satan Elsa's spells don't normally work in combat, unless they need to trigger a target to at least not be opposed to what you're trying to make them do. Trixie knows. It only worked because we were already exhausted. Trixie stared, trying to power up her horn again, but the magic sputtered out. The show mare panted and tried again with the same result. Twilight frowned. And that's why you did it then. You're out of mana. Trixie believes so. Her storm spell took up a lot of mana to set up. You tell the truth. Twilight powered up her horn.
Almost faster than normal, still goes steadily. Yeah. Trixie nodded solemnly.
And finish it.
What?
End this duel now. Trixie's not going to give up, so you need to be the one to finish this.
Trixie gave a serious look.
Trixie's not a quitter. The only way this is ending is if you end it. If Trixie loses, she wants it to be in a blaze of glory, not in a wither.
Twilight cringed, then sought Trixie with a beam. The shield mare shut her eyes, then blinked when she felt nothing. Opening her eyes, she was in her old great and powerful Trixie outfit.
Twilight.
The point of this is to finally break free from your past, right? Only feeling we lead the great and powerful Trixie to rest once and for all, right? Trixie gave a chuckle.
Trixie can't argue, it's a nice touch. She wishes she thought of it. Fire away, Twilight. Trixie is ready.
Celestia stood and slowly gathered the mana into her horn, causing it to glow bright white, shining like a star. An audible vibration was heard by the ponies. Celestia stood and slowly gathered mana into her horn, causing it to glow bright white, shining like a star. An audible vibration was heard by the ponies. Trixie closed her eyes as she was blasted full force by the beam, causing the crowd to grasp in shock, as it completely engulfed the pony, turning night into day and the light into spell. Trixie slowly opened her eyes, but she didn't feel anything. She saw the beam burning away her outfit, tearing into shreds, blurring into nothing, revealing the outfit Rarity had crafted for her beneath it. When the smoke cleared, there wasn't a scratch on the ash of her unicorn, simply some ashes over her true garb. Trixie blinked. Twilight gave her tired smile. There. I gave the great and powerful Trixie her finale with a bang. It's time for the magnificent Trixie to take her bow and close the shore. Trixie chuckled and shared a hug with Twilight.
Touché, Twilight Sparkle. Touché.
Celestia gave a small chuckle. Well done, my student, she whispered. Trixie staggered, but managed to keep her footing. Turned to the stunned crowd with what was exhausted Twilight, giving a bow. After a few moments of stunned silence, the audience broke out in applause.
Great job,
my nervous Trixie! Tears sniffed his sails, clapping their hooves.
Way you go, Trixie!
Cried Debris, sitting with a stunned Carrot Top and the Doctor, strangely surrounded by muffins, some of which were gigantic. And so did Raindrops and Cherry. Applejack and the others, including Steve and Spike, rushed the stage and hugged their friends.
Zoink! I knew it had it in ya!
Applejack cheered, giving Trixie a hug. Rarity and Fluttershy looked down.
Trixie, I'm so very sorry for underestimating you,
the fashionista said with a frown.
Fluttershy nodded. I'm sorry, too. Considering how often it happens to me, I don't think it was right of me. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me.
Trixie smiled and hugged you too.
It's fine. Trixie already had this conversation tonight. Long story short, Trixie forgives you, because that's what friends do. Sorry you didn't win, Trix, Rainbow consoled. I was rooting for you.
Trixie blinked.
Really?
Rainbow nodded.
Yeah. I really wanted to see you cut loose for once. You didn't disappoint, though. The Trixie didn't win. My, the element of loyalty picking sides.
Trixie teased.
Hey, I cheered for Twilight the first time, sort of. And besides, I thought you needed more support than Twilight. She already knows how awesome we think she is,
Rainbow said, earning a smirk for Twilight. Trixie gave a smile and nod.
Thank you, Rainbow. But Trixie's just happy she did better than most, including herself expected.
Rainbow smirked.
Still proving the naysayers wrong, huh?
Trixie shared a laugh at the irony of the statement.
You know it.
The showman then extended a hug for Stay Tough. Good job, Trixie.
Thank you, Stay Tough. And thank you for supporting Trixie as well.
Celestia spoke a word to the delegates before flying down to the stage. Well done, Twilight Sparkle, and Trixie Midsummer. Trixie looked faint as the others stepped back to give the unicorns their moment in the spotlight.
You know my name!
Of course. I remember the names of all my students at my school for gifted unicorns, the princess announced, seeming to have possessed herself so the entire audience heard her, and reacted with multiple gasps of shock. And you continue to be a diligent student, but learning the magic of friendship. Celestia continued, giving a genuine smile. I'm so very proud of you, my little pony. Trixie giggled giddily.
The Princess Celestia is proud of me. Oh, yes, thank you so much, Your Majesty. That means so much coming from you.
Celestia smiled. I can imagine, she said, looking over to the town's ponies. She smiled to the show mare. Did you two learn anything today?
Yes, we did, Princess. We learned you shouldn't assume you know what a friend is feeling, or assume they won't understand what you are. Sometimes they might understand more than you could have imagined, Trixie recited. Also, I learned you probably should think long and hard about big decisions before you make them. Jumping to conclusions, especially when it comes to friends, can cause more harm than good. Celestia smiled. Well said, my little ponies. In Twilight? Yes, I think you and Trixie should take to getting to that nap now. Twilight plus, but then tried to fail to stifle a yawn. Yeah, you're right. Right, Trixie? Twilight looked over to see the exhausted unicorn had passed out. She gave a smile. Get a good rest, Trixie. You deserve it. A couple of days later, Twilight heard a knock on the door to the library. She concentrated trying to open the door, but gave a grunt, rubbing her horn. Ow! Twilight! Called Spike, running in rather worriedly. Don't overwork yourself. Let me get it. However, as the baby dragon went to open it, the door opened, revealing Trixie using her mouth to somewhat clumsily turn the knob. Hello, Trixie. Still recovering from the duel? Twilight asked. Yes! Trixie cannot remember the last time she was this low on mana. The Azure Mare stared with a disgusted look at the taste of the doorknob. Trixie does not know how Earth ponies get through life without telekinesis. Twilight settled. They probably wonder how we got through it without their connection to nature. Spike grumbled. You could have just let me get it, he muttered. Valid points, Trixie admitted, hovering her sore horn. Hornache? Like you wouldn't believe. The Azure Mare groaned, rubbing her horn. I have one too. And considering my mother's reserves are better, it's no wonder you have one, she said, trying over to the kitchen, but being stopped by Spike. Little Dragon brought back an ice pack and put it on Trixie's horn. Thank you, Spike, Trixie replied, giving the baby dragon a smile. You're welcome. Had to be Twilight's clothes while she's recovering. Twilight gave the little dragon a hug. Then she gave Trixie a thoughtful look. It's kind of funny when you think about it. What? The Ursa Minor didn't drain me this much. So, I guess in a way, you finally did beat it. Trixie blinked and gave a laugh. Ha ha! Trixie supposes you're right, she said, then looked out to the window to Ponyville. It seems she finally beat it in another way. Trixie finally feels like the Ursa incident, and the great and powerful Trixie are truly behind her, and that is worth any amount of hornaches and mana depletion. Twilight smiled in return, and helping my sister do that is worth it to me. The two hugged. And thank you, Twilight. Spike gave a smile. I'm glad everything worked out. You did really well. That big spell at the end was really cool. Trixie gave a smile. Thank you, Spike. Trixie believes that was the biggest spell she's ever performed. She's quite proud of it. And sorry for not really thinking things through when it comes to everything, Spike admitted. Trixie smiled. It's all right, Spike. It all worked out for the best. And now Trixie finally has the Ursa behind her. And thank you for coming up with it. Spike nodded. You're welcome, Trixie. How about we go to get something for Sugar Cube Corner to celebrate? Asked Twilight, giving a smile. That would be lovely. Let's go. Trixie shall lead the way. Trixie exclaimed in her normal, over-the-top aerojack manner, turning the door, just looking at it for a moment before Spike politely opened it. Maybe I should lead the way? The two weakened unicorns blushed and looked at one another with awkward smiles. That's probably a better idea. The two unicorns followed the baby dragon, supporting to each other when their tired bodies stumbled. Trixie couldn't believe how much her life had changed in the last year. Ursa incident finally behind her. She truly felt like her life had begun anew. Goodbye, great and powerful Trixie. The magnificent Trixie is here to stay. Trixie bets she can eat more ice cream than you can, Twilight! Twilight blinked to give a smile when she saw playfulness in Trixie's smirk, where smugness used to dwell. Alright, Trixie, you're on. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. It's the chance to rise up against your rival, and the last known survivor starts the thrill of the night, and they shall all lead the rise of the eye of the tiger. Tempest, I had no idea you knew that song. Rocky is one of my favorite films. Anyway, I know this is a little unusual, guys, but one of the commenters had a suggestion. Really? What is it? Let's get the computer up. He wants us to both do a review of the episode as well. Well, let's do this.
Trixie, how about you give your own review and analysis, a review of the episode, and I'll back it up with mine.
With pleasure. Alright, students, stand back as the great and powerful Trixie shall give you her first and completely unedited introduction and review of the episode known as Season 3 episode of Magic Duel. Let us begin. For Trixie, she has found the episode to be quite, how should she say, bland and mediocre. Not enough time was spent on Trixie trying to rule Ponyville, to show her ups and downs, her falls and relaxes as she tries to manage the entire thing, all the while forcing her to talk about how much wheels hate her. Seriously, Trixie had a thing against the wheels of that Alicorn Amulet. It was so passé. But what's more, it did not stop to show off the power of Trixie's magic. I mean, come on. Did you see the opening minutes? First, we just got nothing but Twilight playing games, just spinning around the animals. Like, duh, who cannot do that? Trixie can do that with just a simple wave of her hoof. Watch. This is Kilala. Trixie can lift up Kilala, no problem. Kilala turned into a giant, turning into your animal form. Uh-oh. Boom! Anyway. Next. But then, we see that Trixie returns, after of course buying the Alicorn Amulet in the store. But of course buying cheap novelty magical items that are granted to give you magical curses are common in Ecclestia. Why wouldn't they be? Trixie sees this as a perfect opportunity to remind you that if you go to a certain store in one town in America, you could buy a little gremlin that would turn into a monster if you bathe it, if you fed it at night, remember? Seriously, what is up the deal with the Magua, Spielberg? What is the deal? Seeing there, Trixie proceeds to do the world a favor and wipes the smile and mouth off a Pinkie Pie. Thus the world's a better place. You're welcome. It begins her greatest duel with Twilight after challenging her. And of course, with the power of the Alicorn Amulet, a maze with near limitless mana is no match for her! And thus makes Twilight run away. Bye-bye, Twilight. And thus, we see Trixie's True ruling. Trixie finds that this whole entire thing shows how grim a ruler she once was, how powerful she was, and how respected, and just how many wonderful photos she had ready for her own ruling. You might be wondering where Trixie found those type of images. Very, very, very simple. Trixie always keeps some plenty on hand. And you might be wondering about Trixie's job on the rock farm. Did she enjoy talking to Maud? Well, yes, she enjoyed talking to her. But sadly, whenever Trixie had to have fun with Maud, that was when her elder sister came up. Note to self, never, ever, ever talk to Limestone again. It will ruin you for your life. And so, did Trixie proceed to lie in wait? Little did Trixie know, now thanks to the episode, that every pony was fighting against her! Using the soft, quiet one as a weapon. Trixie cannot believe it. You, my dear friend! Yes, oh my. Our unconditional weapon. You should be cautious. Trixie has her eyes on you. Oh my. Where to proceed to get Twilight? This is what was Twilight training for anyway. There she was, training all of her different magical attacks. What was she practicing? What was she learning? Trixie does not know, but she can bet you one thing. It rhymes with cheating! Yes, because as Trixie's concerned, that second round of Magic Duel was nothing more than cheating! It was nothing more than trickery. Trixie put her all into it. And what did Twilight do? She used her wits, guile, and intelligence to proceed to mess with her. And one thing Trixie cannot stand, it's cheating! But luckily the Alicorn Amulet got off, and now Trixie was free to wander the earth once again, while Twilight got to enjoy her celebration. As such, Trixie thinks that this episode is only mediocre because It just did not show Trixie being awesome enough. It needed to be a two-parter, a grand glorious adventure. It needed to be Trixie, hun. I think they got it. No, they didn't. They need to learn. They need to. Oh God, she's starting up. They need to learn how great she is, how powerful she is. Oh God, Tempest. Yeah, boss. Get her out of the studio. You got it, boss. Come on, other boss. You put Trixie down, assistant. You're still carrying her on your back like this. She is not so common nag. Trixie will have your hide, martial art for user. You hear, Trixie? Trixie will have your hide from a bad thing. Yeah. So, anyway, what did I think of the episode? Well, let's take us back. This is way back in Season 3. Alicorn Twilight is just not on the edge of the horizon. We just left the Crystal Empire two-part, which I'll admit, with my list of two-parters ranging from spectacular down to okay, yeah, it's a 3-tier system. The Crystal Empire two-parter ranks right below that. In case you're wondering, I got a 3-tier system. Superb, which is what's his top on the billing, was his Return of Harmony, Twilight's Kingdom, Shadow Play, and Cutie Remark. Then we got Middle Ground. Those are the great ones, and I'll probably rewatch them again and again whenever I have a chance to. See, here's the difference. Tier 1, instantaneous rewatch. Tier 2, might watch it again. But if I want to watch the Tier 1 episode, it's going to smack the other one out. Tier 3, only if I really, really don't have anything else to do. So Crystal Empire ranks right there. And we had just gotten to this episode. So how do we begin? Well, first off, I hated it! Why, it's Billy the Straw Man! I didn't know you knew how to come into this office. Tempest! Oh, that's right, my bodyguard's out taking out Trixie. Well, Billy the Straw Man, why do you hate this episode? Because it's pandering to the audience. Pandering to the audience. How? Well, the fanboys all really love Trixie. They all found Trixie to be really great in Season 1, so they all decided to bring her back just to make the other fanboys proud. I hate this episode for purely that reason, because truly that was it. Really? Yeah! Okay, so, Negaduck has to be pandering too, right? What? No! I love Negaduck! Negaduck is awesome! Well, that's pandering to the audience, because he's only a first episode. He was only popped up in one episode before he became the Negaduck we all know and love. So, he must be pandering too. What? No! In TMNT 2012, that cartoon show that has a really well-written character seasons, must be all about the pandering. What do you mean? Well, all these references to the 80s cartoon? God. It has to be that's pandering to all the 80s fanboys up to high heaven. And getting the original cast for the 80s cartoon? What pandering? I must hate it too. But wait a second, just stop that! And Avatar: The Last Airbender? God, Ember Eye on players. But that's a great episode! Yeah, it is, but I have to hate that episode too, because, oh golly, with all the fandom gags and all the references, that was just so full of pandering, it wasn't even funny. Stop that! That's just wrong! I'm sorry, Mr. Strawman, but you forced my hoof on this. And I'm going to play you like a fiddle. Oh, and can't forget Terra episodes of Teen Titans. Oh, that was all full of pandering. Oh, and the episodes where Slade popped in. What do you mean? Well, Slade's really popular, and by your admission, if the character was really popular, then it must be pandering, especially if it was for one episode. Oh, good golly, I could keep this up all day long. But I won't. You won't? No. Because you see, Mr. Billy D, my bodyguard just came back. And she hates strawman arguments. Uh-oh.
Tempest, get him! Come here, Billy! Ah! Help me! Anyway, I love messing with those ideas. When we cut to our first step part of the episode, we start off with Trixie buying the Alicorn Amulet in the store. And Trixie is right. I don't find anything really wrong about this, because I do love these type of things when, you can buy magical evil artifacts off the store in any type of location. Brings to mind Simpsons. But it comes with a fat-free yogurt. That's good. The yogurt is also cursed. That's bad. But you get your choice of sprinkles. That's good. The sprinkles contain potassium glycinate. That's bad. But hey, when it comes to things like that, I always give a little leeway, because if I had to complain about that, then why not don't I complain about the following? Gremlins, the Last Starfire. And I don't. Which means that if I were to complain, that would seem kind of hypocritical of me. Just one thing I can't stand is a hypocrite. Moving on. Then after we get back, we see Twilight practicing her magic. And I do like the fact that it's Twilight basically performing a little more peaceful recitation. Kind of like a demonstration of more meditation themes. Just concentrating and being slowly focused, rather than something big and extravagant. Must have Flare Size his own fear. Not sure if I still always like it when Emily Larson goes a little too far with the Flare Side being squeaky, but in this case, this is Flare Side being nervous, and I do love it when we see Flare Side's hard edge. Again, why do people constantly say that Flare Side never seems to become assertive? There's he is letting loose a little bit. She just knows how to hold it in once in a while, and still tries to become more and more over time. It's a slow process, and it's not really basic learning the same lessons again and again. Moving on, we then also watch. Then we move on to the eponymous Magic Duel after Trixie is done messing with Snips and Snails. No, I don't hate him. I'm just laughing that she got her revenge. Because technically, they were the ones who messed up. We never really did get to see if they were grounded. They were! Thank you, Raindrops! And we see Trixie's horrible backstory, what was going on. That she had been shunned, kicked out, booted out, smacked down, insulted, mocked, teased, ripped, and forced to write bad fanfiction. And I do like that because it does show consequences, and I do love it whenever we see a returning villain, who's not pandering, by the way, Billy! Because then we actually see where the villain's growing and how it proceeds to work on from there. How the villain proceeds to change and what events happen to later on. It does offer a sense of continuity, and it does also give us some good callbacks. Especially to the rock farm and seeing her. I wonder how Trixie really did react to Maud. And I wonder how she really did mess with Lyra. And then we begin the Magic Duel. Where, of course, we also lose one of the greatest things ever. We lose Pinkie Pie's voice, and that's just simply horrifying. Now, I do once again always point out, there is a difference between how the showrunners will interpret magic battles or magic duels versus how we in the fandom, or even me, do it. The showrunners tend to go for light, because it's supposed to be lighthearted. It's not supposed to be big and expressive, because, let's face it, they don't have the budget to do it. I mean, my version of a Magic Duel, well, would leave part of Ponyville destroyed. But their version reminds me of The Raven with Edgar Allan Poe. For those of you who don't know, that version is the one where Vincent Price is a sorcerer and fights another sorcerer. What does this have to do with The Raven, you might ask? Nothing. Nothing at all. Move on. And near the end, Edgar Allan Poe Vincent Price proceeds to have a wizard's duel with the bad guy. And Vincent Price proceeds to start using magic to one-up him. So when the bad guy sends out a horde of demonic dogs, Vincent Price just simply waves his hand and turns the demonic dogs into puppies. It's adorable. And that's what this brings to mind. It's a lighthearted Magic Duel, and fits well with how the show works. And it does some great comical bits. I loved it. I also love seeing Trixie bringing out the Doom and kicking Twilight out, forcing Twilight to train. And again, we see what happens when the main six are captured and enslaved. They don't sit around there crying about their fate, Mikan! They're actually trying to do something. We're actually seeing them being very investigative and working towards trying to figure out how to solve the problem. Mainly, get Twilight back and figure out their own way to kick ass, take names. I also have to laugh at the idea of Rarity cutting her hoof on a sewing machine. Does that happen often? Is there a version of Cinderella in the Pony world where she breaks her hoof on a spinning wheel? Chrysalis, you wouldn't happen to have anything? Not my game. Okay. And we see them configure. Of course, Rainbow Dash brings out the best weapon! The best secretive weapon! Fluttershy! And Fluttershy is nervous about doing this and trying to go after Trixie. Again, this is one of those moments where you have to ask yourself about the show just how much of Fluttershy's fear is too much. I mean, on the one hand, we do have Fluttershy, worried about having to deal with Trixie. On the other hand, we do know Fluttershy is willing to go through hell to save her friends. I mean, on the one hand, it's Fluttershy worrying. And it makes sense. Trixie's more powerful than her. And we know Fluttershy actually isn't somewhat scared. Might be scared of her own shadow, but she's also scared of things that make sense. And quite frankly, if I was in Fluttershy's shoes, I would kind of want to run for the hills from the nuke. But then again, it's Fluttershy. We know her to do things if it meant helping her friends a little more bravely. I'm guessing I would have loved to see her have a little more fear when it came to her spy suit, and a little more courage going, I'll have to do this, but I can't. But it's for my friends, but I can't. No, yes, no. And less of the animals doing it. While the animals did provide a good punchline. See, I guess I should take a moment here before continuing on to talk about how I watched the show and why I always seem to be positive and always have a smile on my face when it comes to the series. I watched Pony not just because of the excellent world building, the three-dimensional characters, the fun side characters, the action, the adventure, the world building, the magic, the comedy, the storytelling, the ideas, the fact that it inspires me constantly, the fact that it gives me hope, the fact that it makes me smile and laugh every time I watch it, or the fact that it's just generally a good time to just sit back and relax and enjoy something and it's something fun. But I also watch it because, well, I also know how funny it can be. And I also realize that it's supposed to be a mix of good adventure and comedy, especially later on in the show. I guess, in a way, if you want to say how I watch it, I guess I kind of watch it in a similar fashion to Powerpuff Girls. And if you guys rewatch any of the old Powerpuff Girls seasons, you'll know that there are some things that you have to ask yourself and take a grain of salt whenever you watch it. Like, for instance, how did a police officer easily capture the three girls and put them into that little death trap involving acid when the girls are super strong? Or, anytime the girls are easily beaten just to move the plot forward. I'm used to that. And I'm used to taking things with a grain of salt. Like, for instance, when suddenly the Powerpuff Girls have an instant shield blocking the bullets during the episode with Princess Morbucks. You gotta ask yourself, which was better? Having to remember all that, or trying to move forward with the story and the joke? And I realized that Powerpuff Girls was also meant to be comical and not always continuity filled. So, I guess that's the way I treat Pony. I tend to look at it both as an adventure series when they actually get to the adventure stuff, and comical. So, whenever I watch the episode, I kind of break it down into two parts. One, how does this work for, say, the adventure aspect or the character aspect, and how well does this work for the jokes? Because when I'm watching Pony, I'm expecting a bunch of gags and I'm expecting to come away smiling, which probably explains why I don't always get ang- angry at a bad episode or just go, how mediocre. I always find good things to like about it because because if I don't watch the action, I sometimes also pay more attention to the gags. I think to myself how hilarious this is. So yeah, I watch Pony not just because the magic and adventure and the well-developed characters are fun and exciting, but I also watch it because it makes me smile every day, and I also know that it's comical. So continuing on, we see that Twilight's betraying with Sakura. And we see, and contrary to what a certain tech guy with a glasses reviewer has said, and I will not speak his for it has been declared a sin in this recording booth. Dang straight, right, Trixie? But Twilight was learning something. Not only was she learning how to focus, but she was also learning how not to do big magical spells. Because there she was she was fighting Trixie on par with her, trying to go with the, oh look, it's the big chain spell, or oh look, it's a giant age spell. So thus she had to learn to focus and become more centered, more analytical about her approach. And when Twilight, we see this when Twilight sees Fluttershy, and Fluttershy reports about the Alicorn Amulet. I always do love these magical, powerful devices that will slowly corrupt your personality. So it's fun. And that's when Twilight hears Sakura mention use of 6, and then realizes the importance of not focusing just on using her magic, but rather unity. Use her resources to her advantage, and learn that sometimes using big, powerful spells is not always the way to go. Sometimes it's the smaller, more nuanced tricks. Sometimes it's the more practical magics that work the best, that can use it. In other words, don't always go for the big attacks. Sometimes a simple Ki Blast can handle something that you might think a Spirit Bomb could do. Or to use a quote from Lessons of Tomorrow, Twilight was using a scalpel. Trixie was using a chainsaw. And that's how it all ends. We see Trixie being tricked with, well, to quote somebody, using the wooden gun. In case anybody's wondering, wooden gun refers to how in an episode of the 1970s Fantastic Four series that shall never be mentioned again, Magneto, being written horribly out of character, tries to take over the Fantastic Four, and for some odd reason gets involved in a money scheme. Don't ask. And Reed Richards decides to try to shoot a gun that is immune to all Magneto's powers. Come to find out, it's a wooden gun. Magneto didn't just use Robbie in the distance because... So, but this is always a good trick. It is a commonplace too. You know, the hero comes up with a fake item to say that this is more powerful, forcing the other villain to grab it. Quite common, and it's quite effective, especially in this case, as it does show kids how to basically use alternate tricks in a trade. And it's also quite reasonable to be this intelligent. When we leave off, we see Trixie saying that she's ready to be humble and apologetic, while still being our favorite egotist. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode, but there are literally very little Pony episodes that I despise early or get really annoyed by. Applejack's Day Off being one of them! It's not just because I feel lost in plot, but slowly over time that episode has begun to annoy me and grain on my nerves. And as for the fic itself, well, why do you think I spent most of this time talking about the 2 episodes? This fic is great! It's done by GozillaWolf! It's part of the Getting Back on Your Hose universe! It's awesome, it's spectacular, everybody's a character, the plot moves at a great pace, it feels like an episode of the show, everybody works well on this, friendships are learned, and it still makes me think of how this universe would handle some of the canon episodes. Overall, just a great fic to mix with my other personal favorite fic of all time, Getting on Your Hubs. And that was one down, thousands more to go. Let's hit the trailer!
Everybody knows my story of how I was found by my mom. But there are other universes out there, other me's, right? I guess maybe it's about time I solve those. Let me show you some glimpses.
Next time, Penstrokes Glimpses, featuring Nyx.